Those of you that maybe don't know me, I did a live in our Heart and Hustle movement a while back, but just in case you didn't watch it, I am Amber White, and I am one of the coaches in the group, and actually Lauren and I started the Heart and Hustle movement together. I am actually Lauren's coach. However, we do most things success partner like now, and honestly at this point a lot of times she's coaching me. So we do a lot together. We created the Heart and Hustle movement, but we kind of branched off in our groups, because what you'll find out as you are coaching is at some point you are going to create your own group, and you're going to have your own platform that might be different from others. So it's wonderful to team up, but at some point you might have to kind of go your own way to a certain degree. However, Lauren and I didn't want to miss out on our collaboration, because if you haven't noticed from Beachbody, we're all about teamwork and we're all about collaboration. So we wanted to keep the Heart and Hustle movement as a collaborative team. So I'm going to start doing some of the team calls to kind of be incorporating my team some, but also to give, for Lauren and I to share the workload a little bit. So I won't go into my whole story, but if you haven't watched it, watch the live in the Heart and Hustle movement, because I have had a very interesting coaching story. I have been coaching for almost 2 years, and I've had a lot of ups and downs. So Lauren has a lot of knowledge as far as her growth in her business. I have a little bit of a different perspective because I have had some failures in this business. So the cool thing with that is that I can teach you guys sometimes what not to do. Which, for me, the failure was hard, but looking at it now, like, I've grown from it, I'm moving past it, and I think that it brings a good spin to the group to be able to kind of help you guys to not follow in those footsteps and to figure out, how to work around things that I might have done. And the cool thing is tonight's training is actually on time management, which is interesting because that was one of my downfalls. That was one of the things I really let get in my way, is not having an organized routine and letting this business go to the wayside and become more of a hobby, or more of just actually not even existent at one point in time. So, but the reason I'm doing time management is for 2 reasons. One, to share with you guys what I did wrong in my business and how to combat that, and for you guys to not fall in that same trap. And 2, at the training, I was like taking notes like a crazy person, because I was like, oh my God, I need this so bad. So I went to Summit with Lauren in Indianapolis this summer, and that's what this training is based from. It's mostly from 2 of the top coaches that did the training in Indianapolis on time management. And so, like I said, 2 reasons: because I learned from it, and the other because I was taking notes like crazy. All right, Lauren has taught me how to share my screen. So I'm going to start here. Bear with me, because it has been a while since I have. All right. Well, Lauren.
Did you do the Google one, or did you do your desktop?
I did the desktop.
Okay, minimize.
See, she's teaching me.
That's all right. Hit stop share screen.
All right.
And then go back to share screen.
We had it so well earlier. Let me see this, if this one works.
There you go.
That one better?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. All right. So very quickly, I just want to just touch base real quick on the Summit announcements, because this is the kind of like the Summit edition. So this is the Summit edition training. So 3 big announcements at Summit, and you probably had more announcements on Sunday at Super Sunday, so maybe Lauren can share that at some point. But these were the 3 big announcements at Summit. They have the Pumpkin Spice Shakeology coming in the fall of 2018. That's going to be a limited edition, so that may be something that you can kind of start sharing with people. Shift Shop is coming out with a new workout, the Proving Ground. And so Shift Shop created a workout. If you guys were around, it came out last summer, but he's actually created some add-on videos where I think it's more so like it's going to have a portion that you can kind of prove yourself to see if you can like beat your best the following week or day. So more details are going to come out about that, but the group's going to start in October and the workouts are going to be released. So it's just kind of an add-on to that Shift Shop. So that's just something to kind of be thinking about when you're planning your challenge groups or you're planning your own workout routine. And then last but not least, Shaun T, whom is my favorite, is coming out with Transform 20, and that is going to be a 6-week program, 20 minutes a day. And the early access VIP comes out in January 2019. So they're going to launch it on BOD in the spring, but they're going to do that early access, kind of like they have with Lift 4. So this will be something, it goes on sale in December, starts in January for the early access. So this will be something to push for that New Year's resolution for everybody. So I'm really excited about that one. Lauren, do you have anything to add on those 3?
No, I just say, I mean, if you think about all of these programs, they are perfect with what Beachbody, I mean, Beachbody is brilliant in how they release these things, because you have the fall, everyone's crazy over pumpkin spice. So totally be rocking your pumpkin spice Starbucks and then be rocking your pumpkin spice Shakeology and talk about the difference in one is healthy for you and one is added sugars. Shift Shop, the October date is perfect for football. I mean, you think like do a football themed challenge group, and then obviously New Year's resolutions, everyone's trying to get off the weight. So I mean, like
in 20 minutes.
Right, 20 minutes.
20 minutes.
You don't have to worry about the excuses of no time. And everybody loves Shaun T. And so even talking to people that don't know about Beachbody, they know about Shaun T. I think it was Andrea that was like, I never knew. Was it Andrea? Yeah, she was like, I never knew Shaun T was Beachbody. Like everyone knows Shaun T, but nobody knows that necessarily. So you don't even have to plug Beachbody. You just got to plug Shaun T for that one. So I think the timeline for this is beautiful for our team and what will all be, and for our businesses alone, because the marketing aspect of it is just perfect. So that's all.
All right, cool. And I've already went in my calendar and I've already spaced out like my own workout plan and what I'm going to do, what months. And that also can help you to guide your challenge groups too. So, okay. So now to get on with the training. All right. Oh, shoot. See, I knew. Okay. So I put Summit Edition, time management, because again, all this content came from trainings at Summit. I actually kind of like merged 2 trainings. Melanie Mitro did one training on time management, and then Brittany Leggett and another girl, I can't remember her name at this time, but they're all top coaches. Melanie is actually the top coach in our company. And it's 2 trainings that I kind of merged together from them at Summit on time management. One, Melanie's was called time management, and the other one was like how to run a full-time business on part-time hours, which I thought was great for me because I also work full-time still. And also, even though like the trainers that did it said how to work on part-time hours, they actually, I think, do Beachbody full-time, but they were kind of gearing it around their family life and their kids and how they only put like 3 to 4 hours in a day. So it kind of is part-time hours per se. So these are just strategies to help delegate time to devote to your business. So just make sure you take some notes. Like I said, I wish that I had this training whenever I first started, and maybe I wouldn't have fallen into the trap that I did. But all right, so some things to think about are, what are your 3 to 4 top priorities? What are your goals and why? Why do these have significance to you? One thing that I wanted to kind of bring up to you guys is you really need to think now. And I know that we hear this and we say this, but you really need to think now what you want this business to be for you. Is your goal for this business for it to be just to get a discount? And likely if it is, you're probably not here. So we'll move past that one. But is your goal for this to be a hobby, just to make a little bit of extra money on the side, just to, do something fun, something that you like to put energy into? Or is this something that you really want to build a business from, that you want to put the effort into, that you want to see a substantial income from, that you want to maybe one day quit your full-time job or, have this supplement your retirement or whatever it may be? You really need to think about that, because that was one of the downfalls that I kind of fell into, is that I originally jumped all in and wanted this to be a business. But over time, I really fell into that trap of treating this like a hobby. And so I was putting in hobby hours and hobby time, and I was seeing hobby results. And then I was frustrated because this was supposed to be a business and I wasn't seeing business results. And it's because I wasn't putting in business time. I wasn't putting in the effort and the time that I needed to make this a business. I was treating it as a hobby, and that is what I was seeing as a result. So you really need to think about, like, right now, what you want this business to be for you. If you want it to be a hobby, then when you're setting up your time and you're thinking about time management, you can put your hours as hobby hours. If you want this to be a business, then you really need to think about, how am I going to create business hours? How am I going to make this work for me? And I know a lot of you probably have full-time jobs, and that's okay. You can still make a business from having a full-time job. You just have to have a plan. So that brings to the next thing to think about. How much time will you have to devote to reaching these goals? So if your goal is to build a business, how much time do you have to devote to it to create a business? How many hours per week or day can you devote to it? If you have a full-time job, you know that you can't devote as much time. But if you also have that dream of one day it being your full-time job, you better be devoting you might have to sacrifice some other things in life to make this work for the time being. And then, of course, that question, when you find your time, and determine a schedule that works for you and your lifestyle. Some of us have kids. Some of us have full-time jobs. Some of us have stay-at-home kids, even though we are stay-at-home moms, and we all know that's a freaking full-time job. Even if you don't leave and you don't go out of the office and have an office job, if you're at home with 2 or 3 kids, even one, that is a full-time job. So you have to figure out, how is this going to work for me and my lifestyle? You don't have kids, but you have a job, or you're in school, or you're in college, or whatever it is, you got to figure out how to work this around those priorities as well. And the last one I really like, communicate those goals / time devoted to those affected. So this may be like, you might need to talk to your husband. You might even need to talk to your kids about the time that you're devoting to this, why it's important to you, what your goals are, so that they can see why you are so dead set on devoting time to this. You know, one of the things whenever I very first started that had to kind of go by the wayside whenever I was really involved in this to a business was watching TV with my husband of the evening. That was one of the things we like to do, but I explained to him, this is going to have to be sacrificed some. And whenever I explained to him why, and he got on board with what I was doing, he understood that and respected that. But we can't just think that they're going to know. We have to share what our goals are, why we want to devote the time that we're devoting to this process. All right. So one of the things that Melanie Metro talked about that I really liked was a Sunday planning session. So I really like that idea of sitting down on a Sunday. She said, you know, you could do any day you wanted, if Friday or Saturday worked best for you. But I really like that idea of sitting down on a Sunday, because that's kind of when we reboot for the week. But having a Sunday planning session where you're going to plan what your week is going to look like. So you're going to sit down every Sunday and you're going to think about, what does my week look like this week? And what do I need to focus on? How am I going to block off my time? So she stated, start with the non-negotiables. If you work, you got to put those hours in. You know, Monday through Friday, you're going to be gone 8 to 4. Block that time off in your schedule. If you have a dentist appointment or doctor's appointment or your kid's function, something like that, you want to block all of those off during your time in your calendar. Now, if you have like a Google Calendar, or I'm a paper pencil girl, so I still use just I don't know if you guys saw my Insta story, but I got a brand new calendar recently, and that's where I'm going to plan my blocks of time from. So you want to make sure when you're starting your planning session, you see what each day holds for that week, and you block off your time for what is non-negotiable, your time with your family, your date night, your work, your workout, your appointments, whatever that may be. And then you determine what's left. And then that's where you fill in your business hours. And again, this comes to, you might have to make some sacrifices to reach those goals and make the time work for you. But you got to figure out what those sacrifices are going to be, work and talk with your loved ones about what that's going to look like, and make that work. So then the next thing is what to do during those business hours. So you've done your Sunday planning session, you've blocked off the non-negotiables, and then you've looked at, what time do I have left to devote to my business? So then you have your hour or 2 hours a day or 4 days a week or whatever that looks like. And then the question is, which this was where I kind of, the hard part for me was, how do I become productive in that hour? Because I would find myself sitting down and like an hour would go by and I'd be like, what the hell did I just do? Like, I don't even know what I just did. Like, I was not productive whatsoever because a lot of times I didn't have a plan. And so what you want to do is you want to have a daily plan. And I put in here that I put plan for the next day. Because obviously you don't want to be planning on Monday what you're going to do Monday. Because if you sit down and you go, okay, what am I going to do today? You can go so easily off track. So you want to have a plan for what you're going to do each day. And I would suggest, again, you have your Sunday where you plan what your week looks like. Now, when you do your daily plan, I would suggest on Sunday, you write down, what are my to-dos for Monday? On Monday, you write down at the end of your hour session, what are my to-dos for Tuesday? So you want to have that daily plan. And that may be your inviting, connecting, following up, checking your inboxes or your emails at a specific time. This was one of the things that I really liked that they shared. And again, I'll share with you something that I did wrong in the past was I would just kind of check my messages like on the fly. Like I'd see the bubble pop up. I'd be in between jobs at work and I'd be like, okay, let me go see what's in my, who's messaging me. And I think that was more so because I was like excited, like maybe someone wants to buy a challenge pack. I gotta answer this like right now. So I would go and I would check it, and then it would be somebody about the business, and I'd have a conversation back, but then I'd have to kind of like let that go and go on to whatever job I was going to. And then by the time I got home of the evening and I sat down, I would forget and lose track of some of those messages. So I really like this idea of having a specific time each day, maybe 15 minutes, depending on how many messages you have to get back to. If you're just starting out, you might not have as many, but if you're, a rock star like Lauren and you have 20 some messages a day, you might have to devote more time to that. But just checking your emails at a specific time. So maybe setting aside 15 minutes a day are going to be devoted to checking my messages, getting back to people, and don't even open your messages until that block of time is set, because it's very easy to lose track. That is something that I will definitely say I loved when they said this and suggested this, because that was something that I did. I would just check messages on the fly. I would check 10, 15 times a day. There's no way, if you don't have your tracker and you don't have things in front of you to keep track, that you're going to be able to keep track of that. And then of course, planning out your posts. Now that we have the Insta stories, which I actually thought at first were kind of ridiculous, but I absolutely love them now. You have all day that you can be posting on there and sharing and being a product of the product and doing what you're doing. If you have your morning routine, Lauren posts her workout every single day. I try to post like my pre-workout. I don't really post my videos just because that's not my thing yet. Maybe one of these days I'll get there, but I'll do like my pre-workout. I'll do some kind of picture on my Insta story, and then I'll do something, whether it be a video or a boomerang or something after my workout. So I do that like just about every day. I try to. And then beginning the list for the next day. So you just want to have a daily plan of what your to-dos are, because if you just kind of fly by the seat of your pants and go, okay, it's Monday at 5 a.m. I said I was going to like sit down and do work. What am I going to do? You're going to really you're going to start scrolling Insta stories. You're going to start scrolling your Facebook feed, and you're not going to you're going to look up and your time is going to be up, and you're not going to have done anything you were supposed to do. So you just want to make sure that you have a plan. Now, I like this last thing here, this project time. This was another thing that I got really caught up with is I would sit down and do my power hour, which what I thought was my power hour. And then I would get so overwhelmed with like, okay, and then I have to watch this YouTube training, and then I have to do, like, I can't fit all this into an hour. And something that I've now figured out is that project time to me is kind of like in addition to. Like your power hour really needs to be connected to your, your connecting with people, inviting people, your personal development, your workout time, whatever that may be. And then your project times are kind of in addition to. And I'll go a little bit more into detail in that here in a few. But let me actually go to that first. Okay. So here is like an application idea. So if you're looking at, these are samples of trackers. Now, when we talk about trackers, that's more what we're talking about our power hour, the people we're connecting with, the people we're talking to. So you want to utilize your activity trackers to track that power hour. And if that's how we're focusing more on our vital behaviors. So like this one right here has, did I get my personal development in? Did I get my workout in? Did I get my Shakeology? It has, did I add 5 new friends? Start new conversations. So that's kind of where you would track that. I actually have been using this one. That's actually the Beachbody business activity tracker, because I like having all my days all right there for the week and having one page. Lauren and Lauren can attest to this, we created tracker after tracker after tracker when we very first started. I mean, like, we just tracked the hell out of stuff, and then we ended up like not even using it half the time. we really we were the shit at making trackers, but we sucked at implementing the trackers, because it was like we would put so much on there, at least for me. Lauren, you can comment, but for me, like, we would put so much stuff on this tracker, and then whenever I'd sit down to do this 5-page tracker each day, I would be like shutdown mode. This is too much, can't deal, moving on. So yeah, we tracked some stuff, but we didn't really implement it well. So you want to find something that works for you. If you Google Beachbody activity trackers, there's tons of ones already made out there. Plus, like I said, this one is actually in your back office. So I really like this one because it's all on one, again, it's the whole week is on one sheet of paper. When I have a page a day, that overwhelms me. I can't deal with that. So if you use a tracker, figure out what works for you. You can create your own, but again, I wouldn't suggest it because it's really probably just gonna be more harmful than help. Find one that's already made and just use it. See what works for you, what doesn't. And then use a weekly to-do list to focus on the other times, the project times. So the team calls, trainings, creating your group content, creating Google Forms. That's what really overwhelmed me. Like I said, I was doing my power hour, I was sitting down, I was tracking who I was talking to, I was doing my personal development. And then in my head, I was like, oh shit, I've got this training, and then I've got to make content for my group, and then and I just kind of like, all that was in my head. I didn't have it written down anywhere because it wasn't on my freaking tracker. So I would forget what I was supposed to be doing, and then I just wouldn't do anything. And I kind of put these, now that I realize that I put them a little bit out of order, but this would be an idea for like your to-do list. And this is my actual to-do list now because I've learned that I need a to-do list. So it has like the 7 days a week, Monday through the weekend. And this is where I put my extra stuff. This is where I put I need to make a coach info link. I need to, do on Thursday, it would say team call at 8:00. I need to make my mindset info group. So this is where I put like my extra tasks, I guess, is on some kind of like a to-do list. So my daily tracker, my power hour that I was on the last slide, I do every single day. This is kind of my to-do list that I need to kind of touch base on. And I've been starting to put my activity tracker like on here, like do activity tracker as one of my to-dos on the days. So you want to think about, again, what are your goals for the week? So if your goal is, I'm going to work on trying to recruit coaches this week, then you probably want to put on like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, like work on coach sneak peek content or connect with possible coaches, post about coaching. So this would kind of be your extra to-dos. Does that make sense? Like to everybody, is that a lot of information? Like I said, I really learned really quickly that if I didn't have it written down, it overwhelmed me. And if I tried to like keep in my head, like make content for this, watch this training, listen to National Wake Up Call, like I couldn't hold it all there. and it overwhelmed me. And so when I would sit down, I just would like shut down. I just didn't want to do it. So I think it's very vital that you have your tracker for your power hour like this. And then you also have like a to-do list that has what you need to do each day for those extras. And the extras will get bigger the more your business grows. Your extras might not be that much right now. And if you're brand new to coaching, I wouldn't even start so much with the extras. The National Wake Up Call, these team calls, maybe checking in with challengers. Other than that, you shouldn't have that many extras right now. But when your business grows, then those extras are going to grow and it will quickly overwhelm you otherwise. So I definitely think you need to have the power hour tracker and then a to-do list for all the extras. Another thing that Melanie Mitro talked about was eliminating distractions. I'm not going to go like in great detail. I think we all know this. I will say this is hard for a lot of us because we probably have kids and our house is crazy if it's like mine. As soon as I started this call, my son walked in, like I gave him the death stare and I think he walked back out. But, it's hard to eliminate distractions when we have little ones. But setting that daily intention, so knowing what you're going to do, working from that list, turning off notifications. If you sit down to create content for your challenge group, turn off your messages. Don't even pay attention to anyone else conversating with you. Focus on what you sat down to do. Put your phone on silent, work by a timer. That was another thing that they gave us. Like if you're going to respond to messages and you give yourself 30 minutes to do it, set a timer and see how many messages can I respond to in 30 minutes. Like try to create something that's going to make you be more intentional than, oh, I'll answer this message and then, oh, this Insta story is like interesting. I'm going to watch it. You want to make sure that you're intentional about what you're doing. You have a block of time set out. A dedicated space in your home for work. Ideally, if you had an office, that would be great. I know we don't all have that. I work at my kitchen table. I have like a basket that has all my stuff in it that I carry to my kitchen table when it's work time. But if you have an office or a space that you can set up, that is also great. And then lastly, create a reward after your work is done. So if you really like watching people's Insta stories or you really like scrolling the news feed on Facebook, reward yourself after your 30 minutes of messaging is up with doing that, maybe for 5 or 10 minutes. All right, so just to kind of recap, these are some survival tips to win the day. And so they talked about this at Summit, win the day. Kind of means like basically, was I as productive? Did I reach the most productivity that I could have reached today? Basically, it's like, did I win the day? Did I do everything that I needed to do today to be intentional, to grow my business, to do what I needed to do to that I set out to do whenever I planned this on Sunday? So you want to be consistent, of course, with sharing. You want to represent the lifestyle. So representing, if you're selling wellness, you want to be representing wellness. That's another term that one of the people that spoke to us said. If you're representing wellness, you want to be living wellness. So you want to be getting your workout and drinking your shake, doing your pre-workout, eating, decently. They say that if nothing else, you want to invite people. So that's really key. You're not going to gain customers. You're not going to gain women to help if you aren't reaching out and inviting people. As scary as it may be, invite. That is vital. Stay organized with your messaging. Again, we talked about that earlier. No fly by the seat of your pants messaging. Have a time that you sit down and you respond to messages. Create content on the go. Stay organized with your time. Like sometimes if you're out of town, I know like I went camping for the 4th of July, my whole plan, I took everything with me to sit down and do it. And I really didn't very well, I will admit. But if you can create some things that when you are on the go that you can shoot out there to your teams or that you can post, that's going to be helpful. And then one of them stated to gut check yourself. Did I get the most important thing done? So each night think about, like I said, was I as productive as I could be? Did I do everything that was on my list? If there's something that you didn't do that you know is important to your business, do it before you go to bed. Make that happen. And then delegation, of course, use trackers, Google Streak, things in your back office to not reinvent the wheel, and then set the next day's priorities or to-do list. So make sure before you finish your power hour or whatever it may be, that you have a list for tomorrow. What am I going to do tomorrow? What are my main goals? All right, I love this quote. The bad news is that time flies, but the good news is that you are the pilot. And I'm thinking, like, I can make all the excuses in the world, but we all have the same 24 hours. We all have the same busy, crazy lives. We all have things that happen, and time flies for all of us. But we are the pilot of our own lives, so we can figure out what's important to us. We can figure out what our intentions are for this business, and we can either make it work or we can make excuses and crash the plane. Just thought of that. That was awesome. But anyway, okay, so that's pretty much all that I have. I know that was like a lot of information because it's really hard to kind of sum up time management in a 20 minute or so PowerPoint and discussion. But I really think the key points here that I want to make, again, learning from my mistakes, is if you are not intentional about your time, if you do not have a plan, if you do not schedule your intentions for the day, for the week, for the month, trust me, you will not be successful. Like I'm living proof that you have to do this or you will not be successful. You absolutely cannot be successful in this business and fly by the seat of your pants and put it on the back burner. That was what I did. Like, this was the last like 6 months of my coaching before I got back into it recently. This was my last priority, and I treated it like that. It would be like 10 o'clock at night, and I'd be like, oh shit, I got to do my Beachbody stuff. And then I didn't want to do it. It wasn't because I didn't love it. It was because I had no energy left to do it. I had put everything else in front of it, and I had no energy left to deal with it. And then it became a burden. And that is where I went from being diamond and making, a few $100s a week to being lucky to get $14 a week and falling all the way back down to a coach. It's the difference between that and making this successful. So I'm not going to continue sharing my fun little sob story with you, but just take away from this that you need to, I know some of you are off work right now and you have more time to devote to this, and some of you, your life doesn't really change in the summer, but whatever your path is, you need to create a schedule that works for you, and you need to be intentional about your time and be productive with it. So, I guess I can stop sharing my screen. Yay! I think that worked. All right. So I don't know, want to kind of like if anybody wants to add to that or ask any questions about that. I did want to show real quick, and Lauren has these too. I just bought these the other day. These are like inserts that go in your calendar that have like.
Did you open them yet, Amber?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Because the back is my favorite too.
There's a back?
No, I mean, like, have you opened up the sheets?
Oh, I see that now.
Yeah. But I was thinking when you were giving your presentation about the to-do list, so it even says top priorities, get it done, and take note. Like, that's been, like, this, I make one every
I have opened them, but apparently I had not looked at the back.
The back, well, and so when you were talking about scheduling your day, so after we got back from Summit, I make a new one for these, like, before I go to bed, before we shut down our house and we go upstairs, I sit down here every night and I fill out the next day. And I use my planner, like, for example, Rachel and I had a call yesterday morning, I think, whatever. My days are all jumbled. But so, like, I had it in my planner, but then that night before, I write down, like, what time we have our call, what time I'm getting up for workout. And then on the back, it's nice because then it's like take notes from the day or follow-ups I need to do. But it goes perfectly. And then you have one page of like what you were saying, your schedule and then your to-do list. And
I love that. I love this schedule. Like, it has half-hour increments. Mm-hmm. So like when I start back to work, like I'll just block off, from here down and know like I'm not going to get anything accomplished during those hours. And then I need to figure out where I can fit things in. And I need to be intentional about making sure that I do that.
Absolutely.
And writing it down is the first step to.
I want to add one more thing that was said at Super Sunday that was so eye-opening, and it goes perfectly with just being intentional with your time and being productive with our invites. So one of the coaches who sat up on the panel said these words, and I was like, oh my gosh, it is so true. She said, if you don't invite people, it's already a no. So if you're afraid to invite people because you're afraid they're going to say no, well, they're saying no if you haven't invited them because you're not giving them the invite anyways. And I really love that. Their Happy Planner. I got mine at Michael's. Did you get?
Yeah, I got mine at Michael's too.
I have the Amazon link too. I can send it to you, Amanda. Do you have a Happy Planner?
You're talking to me?
No, Amanda, I was having her type it back. But anyways, for the inviting, yeah, like that was just huge for me. I was like, oh my gosh, because sometimes it is scary to invite people. And then to go right along with it, I was watching Jamie Fitzpatrick's What It Takes on the Beachbody Champions. And he said, he was talking about how him and his wife, they're from Canada, how they were the perfect coach, perfect challengers, perfect coaches. They signed up for Beachbody and were drinking Shakeology consistently on their own. No one ever invited them. No one ever, they seeked out Miguel. So there are people out there who want this, and there are people who are out there that don't. But it's not up to us to make that decision. And so don't, when you're using your power hour to be effective, don't limit yourself because you're afraid to ask people. So I just kind of thought, I was like, gosh, because it's so hard to sit down and be productive and do our power hour if we're afraid to invite. So it's hard to work when we're afraid to do what we have to do. And so I thought that's so like huge. I'm like, it's already a no if we haven't asked them. I was like, yes, I love it. So Amber, did you have anything else?
No, I think I covered everything. I mean, like I said, I do love that. I do love those pages, the inserts. I got a new planner, but I didn't get the Happy Planner because I didn't really like the way it was laid out. And then I thought, well, maybe these little inserts will fit in this planner. They don't, but that's okay. I'll just stick them in there anyway. But
absolutely.
I think that was really my downfall. My biggest downfall was I was not sitting down and focusing any intentional time on this business. Like literally for probably 9 months, I can't tell you how many times that I sat down and actually intentionally like had a plan of what to do, an action plan or anything. And that is solely, I mean, I was brand new and doing way better than I'm doing 2 years in because I had a plan and I was just doing, and I was just doing what my coach was telling me to do, and I just did it and it was working. But the minute that I got unintentional, the minute that I got like made excuses and just like didn't think it was important, that is the minute that it all just started going downhill. And you just have to be, you have to think of what you want out of this. And if you want this to be successful, you have to put the time and effort into it. And to do that, you have to have a plan and you have to be organized. And especially those of you that are off right now for the summer, that this is like kind of a little bit easier and nice. When you go back to work, it's not going to be, you're going to have to be disciplined about it. Big time.
Love it. I love it. Does anyone have any questions?
What planner, let's see, what planner do I use?
Yeah, because I
honestly don't know what this is. Somebody asked me that the other day. I'm like, I don't know what the name of it is. I got it from Michael's. It's like
open up and see the name. There's got to be a name.
It's not a name.
I have a creative year mat large planner by Recollections.
Recollections. That's what it is.
There we go.
Recollections.
So Michael's, right, is where you can get it?
Yeah, it's Recollections. Now, I mean, I spent like $30 on this planner, but number one, it's 18 months. Number two, it's freaking awesome. And number three, it's an investment in your business. So go to Michael's. It's aisle 74. I even remember the aisle. 74 at Michael's, and pick you up a planner. And then these are in the Happy Planner section. Like, this was a different thing. I just went ahead and got it. I'll just stick it in. Like, I just put it in the front. It doesn't fit in my little.
And honestly, I just leave mine pretty much loose. Like, I don't put it in until the day is over anyways, because I can't.
Yeah, it's like my daily bookmark. So
yeah, there you go. All right. Well,
does anybody have any questions about the about like any of the slides or any of the information? I feel like it was kind of a lot of information. And
no, I think it was perfect. I like how it was laid out. Also, Leah.
Yeah, I would love to see an example of your daily planner, like what the two of you have on it.
Let me go grab my planner. Hold on.
I was looking at my other planner, like, I'm going to start this one in July. My other planner's laying over there. I can go grab it. I don't really have it set up like this yet. But this is what my plan is to do. I have my to-do list right now, like the one that I shared. I have my to-do list, and then I have my tracker. But I'm going to switch to this. Like, this is that 7-day, that gray thing I shared on the PowerPoint. That's what I'm doing right now. It's over in the basket in the back, but that's what I'm doing right now. But I'm going to switch to like this daily thing starting next week.
Right. All right. So like mine, I don't know how much we can see it from the light, but so like this was the 11th, whatever day that was, 2 days ago. Wake up 6:30, edit posts for group at 7:30. Make a form for pre-gaming on the Google Forms. 8 o'clock, workout plus our 15-minute power hour session. 10 o'clock, call with Rachel. And then I left my block open because I knew I was going to be devoting the rest of the day to Xavier. And we had, and Zane. And like here was the 12th, wake up, workout, dermatologist appointment. Take some pictures for my, I know that sounds so vain, but take pictures so that I can use them and keep them. Like, I take a lot of pictures, and then because I don't get myself ready, so I knew I had a dermatologist appointment and I was getting myself ready. So take some pictures of myself so that I can use them as bank pictures for posts later on. That sounds vain, but it's the truth. We're in a social media market, and actually that was one of the pieces that Rachel Hollis gave in the webcast that I got to sit in on. She said, girl, if you have yourself together, take a bunch of pictures, put on some different shirts while you're looking good at the moment, because I look more a hot mess than I do putting myself together. You know what I mean? Like, especially summer, I mean, we are all, like, I don't usually have makeup on and things like that. So that was one of my to-dos today. 10 invites, 10 comments, 10 new followers, 2 new posts prepped. I have been prepping my posts and emailing them to myself. I type them out, email them to myself, because one, I hate typing on my phone. I do way too many typos and then post them, and then it looks ridiculous. And so I've been typing out my email or my posts, and I email them to myself so that I can use them later as bank. That's just one thing that I've been, just for my own time management. So I've even been like scheduling time, and then 8 p.m. team call. So those were my work hours today. And I feel pretty pleased with them.
Well, and I think like that Sunday planning session, you could actually take like 7 of the, take those and create, especially again, when you start back to work, your time for the most part is going to be blocked off during certain hours. And then you can take that day on that Sunday when you're doing your plan, you can take 7 of these, stack them up, go through and write, what you have going on, and then figure out when your hours are going to be, and then post like, I'm going to do my power hour from 5 a.m. to 6 a.m. or 7 to 9. I suggest doing as much work earlier in the day as you possibly can, because when you sit down at 9 or 10 o'clock at night, that is going to at some point be the last thing you want to end up doing, because you're just, again, not because you don't want to do it, but just because you have not much energy left. So,
Amber, do you have a separate planner for work, like schoolwork, and then separate one?
Amber's planner crazy. If you ever want planner advice, go to her.
Yeah, I have a separate planner for work just because my work planner is so jam packed. Yeah. There is no way that I could do both. Now, I will, in this planner, I will write like long evening at work, or if I have like something due the next day that I know I'm gonna have to work from home, like I will write 8 meetings tomorrow morning, like so that I know how bad my day is going to be the next day. So, but yeah, I don't combine the two just because it would be overload for me. So I have 2 separate planners.
That's what I was saying. I use digital for my work, but it's linked to my work email. So I don't know that I want to have 2 digital. I was trying to decide. I like a written planner, but I don't like, or I can't use pencil because I'm left-handed. I know that's weird, but it gets all over my hand. And then I don't want to have to scratch out on it because then it looks weird.
Yeah.
That's just a personal thing.
Well, I think you could probably do another calendar that wasn't linked to Google, so that they didn't link to, because I know sometimes they'll link together if you have even if you have separate Google accounts. They'll link them together, because I have an electronic planner for work too, and a paper pencil planner for work. I do have a lot of planners, but I only put what I have to for my boss on my electronic one, just because I don't do well with electronics. But like linked together with my personal one whenever I try to do a personal one, so I just don't do a personal one on my Google. But there might be like another calendar.
Well, so I was to say, Leah, if you like the Happy Planner layout, they have smaller ones that aren't as big and bulky. Yeah, you can get like smaller sizes, so it's more like pocket friendly, and it's a little bit thinner. So that might be something to check out.
That's what I like about the digital one is it's with me everywhere. I don't have to worry about it. I always have my
Right. I wonder. Yeah, I don't know. I was thinking it looked like Melanie Mitro's almost runs like on an Excel or like a numbers.
Yeah, hers
like a numbers, like an iCloud.
Yeah. Do you use the Google Calendar? Because I know when I was teaching this year, I use my own, I think you can stop sharing with everybody for certain things.
Yeah, I don't share my Google Calendar with anybody, but I don't know.
You're thinking like having too many things, right? Like keeping them separate. Yeah. Maybe check out and see if there's a smaller planner. Like Michaels has really great planners, and Target does too. But I found Michaels is more customizable. I can do more with them.
And there might be a way to where your Google calendars don't cross. I just am not tech savvy enough to figure out how that doesn't happen.
Or maybe I could even get a different app and only connect it to my personal email, or I don't know. I'll figure it out.
I find that my Beachbody calendar, I really just use when I sit down to do my Beachbody stuff. So it's I don't feel like I need it with me all the time, if that makes sense. That's why sometimes I will put my work information in my Beachbody calendar, because sometimes that affects my Beachbody time. But I don't feel like when I'm at work, I did try to multitask, and sometimes on my lunch break, go answer message. It just didn't work for me. So I find that I only have my Beachbody calendar when I sit down to do my Beachbody work. So I don't really need it on the go.
Yeah, that's true. Because I have zero downtime at work.
I
don't even.
I tried. It doesn't even.
It's not like I'm going to do Beachbody stuff at work.
Right. I didn't have cell
Really
phone
just finding
service
that
at work,
calendar.
so I couldn't even, like, I never did my Beachbody stuff at work because I couldn't even have cell phone service. Like,
Yeah.
Well, Lord knows if we try, Ron During is going to find out.
Yeah. So yeah, I figure if you have a paper pencil like Beachbody calendar, you'd be okay because you really just need it when you sit down to do your Beachbody stuff.
Yeah, that's true.
yep.
Good job.
All right. Any other questions?
You do this one or you want me
All right. Our next team call is on the 26th. So it'll be same time, same place, wherever you're sitting. But I forget the topic I'll be talking about, but yeah.
I don't remember what you're doing either.
We'll have a good one. We've already got it planned, so we'll talk. We'll get it then. All right, ladies. Well, everyone have a good evening. I have this recorded, and I'll be putting it in the files of our team page if you would want to come back and check out Amber's slides or take screenshots or anything like that. All right?
Okay.
Everyone have a great evening. Bye.
Bye.